Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Perpetual News. Today we're going to do another, episode of me predicting the election. Now, as you guys know, things are tight. The margins are close. The Democrats, the Republicans, they are both within striking distance of one another, and it's very possible that either of the candidates could win this election this year. Now, I have in my mind who I think is going to win in the back of my head, but the polls and, the opinions of a lot of voters say otherwise. And I think it's useful if we would just look at those. So today I'm going to look at the margins, and I'm going to look at how likely it is that each of these, things happen. Of course, as you guys know, that's what I do. So welcome back. Anyway, basically, my idea is that I think things are going to be tighter than people imagine. If you look at TikTok, if you look at Twitter, if you look at Facebook, Instagram, or any of the other social media platforms that you go on, people have this idea. People think that it might be over. People think that Kamala Harris has it in the bag. And then, on the right wing, the Trump people think they have it in the bag. Here's one thing that scares me. Back in 2016, people believed that Hillary Clinton had it in the bag. But in reality, things came up short for her on election night. Now, I know she only lost by a few percentage points. She only lost by, a couple, 100,000 votes or so. Roughly. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but it could happen again. Kamala Harris is just as likely to succeed or fail as Hillary Clinton did in 2016. The same votes are going to matter. The same states are going to matter. The same electoral college is basically intact, minus or plus a few points here and there. Now, Joe Biden rebuilt the blue wall in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. In fact, he expanded on that lead by acquiring Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. He lost North Carolina, he lost Florida, and he lost Texas. And, there's much to be said about rebuilding that and expanding on it by that amount of votes. Joe Biden's margins in 2020 definitely would have allowed him to even lose Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada and still win. But does that mean that Kamala Harris is going to do the same thing? No, absolutely not. But here's what I will tell you what I think is going to happen. There's a lot of people out there that think that Texas and Florida are in play. And I just want to say, before anybody gets their hopes up, this is not the election year, unfortunately. So we're going to go ahead and give those two states to the Republicans, especially Florida. I think for the first time ever, Florida is going to vote to the right of Texas. That's just kind of I'm chucking that out there. I don't know if that's going to be real. I don't know if that's going to be true, but I believe that they're both going to be around 3%, with Florida being a little bit more red. And that's going to be what it is. We've seen the trends, right? We've seen what happens, and Texas is going bluer, but it's not going to be this election year that happens, and I don't think Republicans need to worry about the state itself. As for where Kamala Harris can make up some ground, I do think Michigan is, at this point, a likely blue state. Actually, I'm going to characterize these guys down here as likely as well for the Republicans. And in reality, I should put likely for Nebraska's 2nd district as well. So this is the situation as it currently stands. Kamala Harris at 241, Donald Trump at 219. You need 270 to win. So where do these votes come from? Now, both campaigns in the last month have spent about $100 million on Pennsylvania. Both campaigns. So $100 million from the left and $100 million from the right. Now, what does this do? it gets Kamala Harris to 260 within striking distance. If she just gets Wisconsin, she wins. That's it. So, yeah, that's a big blow. If Donald Trump gets it, he's within striking distance. He goes up to 238. Now, if Pennsylvania votes red, the likelihood is a lot of these southern states are gonna also fall in line. It could work out that way, or it could not. If we look at the 2012 margins that Obama had, it shouldn't. And we look at the Joe Biden margins, Pennsylvania out of the Rust Belt states, I believe, was the second closest after Wisconsin. So let's just say Donald Trump wins the state of Pennsylvania. How can Kamala Harris make it up? If Donald Trump wins Pennsylvania, I believe that North Carolina goes red. And then he's at 254, and I believe that if North Carolina goes red, then Arizona will probably be somewhere pretty close to Republican needs. And then, you got a place like Georgia, which could possibly work out being that way, but I don't think it will be. I think that if he wins Pennsylvania, Donald Trump wins Georgia, and the whole thing's over, right? That's how I kind of view things. Pennsylvania is pretty much, for me, the tipping point of this election. So both of them need to get Pennsylvania to win. That's the state of the race, in reality. However, here's what I think is going to happen. Let's start off with the easy ones. I do think North Carolina will be red by a very small margin, probably below 1%. I think it'll be that close. And North Carolina is a big 16 points, and that's going to be a deciding factor in this election. There's no doubt about that in my mind. However, I think Kamala Harris wins Wisconsin. And I think it's actually expanding on the lead of Joe Biden. Wisconsin has had a lot of funding from Democrats spent on it. Meanwhile, the Trump campaign has kind of almost seemingly given up on the state, as well as New Hampshire. Trump has sort of backed off on those states, and I think that it's going to be close there, but I think it's going to be fine for Kamala Harris, and I think she can afford to kind of lay off that key swing state. However, she definitely should keep going there and rallying and spending money there and things like that. Now, 251, it gets a little hectic here. If Pennsylvania isn't called early, which it won't be because of mail-in ballots and their system, it'll take probably a week for Pennsylvania to be called. But Georgia is going to be one of the ones that is called quickly. And I think, now this is just where my brain is. It doesn't mean it's going to happen this way. And it arguably might not even do it. I think Georgia's going to go blue again. But I think it'll be called quicker than Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada, or Wisconsin. So this is going to be, in my opinion, the map at, maybe 2 a.m. the following day after election night. And that's kind of what I'm predicting. 267 to 235 is looking tremendously horrible for Donald Trump. He has to win every other state that is on the map. But in a place like Arizona where, there's a lot of contention happening in Arizona. And I think actually the main thing that is keeping Kamala Harris afloat in Arizona is the fact that the Senate race for the Republicans is going terribly. Kari Lake is failing, just flopping at the polls, and she is not a good candidate. Hasn't worked out. If you saw, actually, there was a campaign event that she did with Trump where they told her to get off stage so that Donald Trump would speak. I think Kari Lake is kind of throwing Arizona for the Republicans. However, Do I think the state is going to be decided? I would personally put Arizona as a very, very tilt blue state, which would give Kamala Harris the election. As for Nevada, it's gone red, folks. I think Nevada is going red this year. I think its 6 electoral delegates will go to Donald Trump, and that'll be the end of blue Nevada for a while. It's possible that Kamala Harris wins. I just don't see it happening. A lot of Trump people are there. A lot of campaigning is going on. Vegas has, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. That's why I put it in the tilt margin, like Arizona. Both of them could go the other way. And it could be what it is. As for Pennsylvania, I do think Kamala Harris will win the state, but by a very narrow margin. And that completes the map. 297 to 241 is quite the election. It's close. The margins are close. The states are close. And it really comes up to Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada as the final states of this decision-making election. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, share, and more. And I will catch you next time. Thank you.